to be given an opportunity to make something that solves a meaningful problem. It's not finding sofas to sleep on. Although, you know, great if you need a sofa to sleep on and you got an app that does that for you, perfect. You know, I'm not doing them down, but you know, it's like it's a real human problem. I mean, that's what Animus Bytes is about. We want to solve real human problems.
We all have heard on in the media about the issues around illegal immigration coming across the, boats of people coming across the channel, some horror stories, absolutely horrific stories of people drowning and things like that. How many people are floating around the Mediterranean and the English Channel trying to get into places like the UK? How much of a problem is there to solve?
Well, how many? More than there should be. Firstly, in terms of Migrant Watch, we're using open source data to infer locations of people at risk at sea. For us at the moment, we're focusing just on the Mediterranean. So when we do scale, we've proved the concept with a user, an NGO who will have been on the alpha and beta trials and who confirms that it works for them in their workflow. Right. At that point, we can scale what we're doing to really wherever they want the effect.
So what I mean by how much of a problem is it how many people are dying as a result of us, not, of these trips happening across stretches of water. I'm assuming you track these vehicles, these boats, whatever, these in some cases rubber, very, very primitive equipment. Cases. Yeah, in most cases. Well, so how do you track them?
We're inferring locations through social media chatter and other communication chatter.
Oh, wow, okay. I understand.
So rather than that, the simple solution would be to get live satellite data.
Yeah,
but satellites are really expensive, even though the costs have come down enormously.
Yeah.
So trying to solve the problem in a way that makes it less costly, so that we can prove something, and then if we do introduce satellite photographs and imagery, it enhances the already working thing. If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So. We're inferring through models that we've trained. We're inferring locations because of chatter and social media descriptions. But back to your first question, how many? So pre-Christmas, people traffickers, and this is just one instance. People traffickers had dragged a rubber dinghy of about 30 people out into the shipping lanes, which is their modus operandi, because then they get picked up and someone has to deal with them.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was at night, and they were spotted, and a large tanker commercial vessel, which when you think compared to a rubber dinghy, is probably 10 meters above them, like gigantic.
Yeah,
and the rubber dinghy's not, they haven't got lights. And anyway, so lots of these tankers get diverted because there's been a sighting.
Yeah,
and end up basically driving over the dinghy.
Oh my God!
And that's one event from last year,
Oh, wow,
and so the intention is that people like Médecins Sans Frontières have their own vessels, which are specialist vessels designed, like the RNLI. They're designed to save people at sea.
Yeah.
So instead of guilting commercial vessels into looking for rubber dinghies, it's about putting the right vessels on task to go to a place that is. Let's face it, it'll be something like 25 nautical mile radius, but better than a thumb on a map. And that really is for the first step, is about giving the right people with the right tools the information they need to go and do really what they want and what they're setting out to do, rather than trying to get a really great big oil tanker to look for a dinghy.
So your tool will provide information to organizations, let's say RNLI or the other ones you mentioned, so that they can become more efficient in finding these people before catastrophe strikes. Is that fair to say, Tom? Is that the sort of
and it's not that. Let me be clear. It's not that the commercial vessels are just driving over them. They're trying to do right, and they're being diverted to go and help people at sea.
Yeah,
Maritime law. And also, as a sailor, you want to know that another sailor is going to come and pick you up. So
sure.
the esprit de corps, the sort of culture around making sure that vessels do go and look if they've been told someone's around, is wonderful. It's about the scale of those vessels looking for something that's just a rubber dinghy.
Do you have any idea of what kind of number? So I'm assuming about one of the main pathways that you guys try to gain intelligence on is probably Morocco to sort of southern Spain. Is that one of the main corridors for these trips?
Most of this stuff is. That's one of them. Absolutely. A lot of last year was Libya north. So Libya
to Malta or something. Is it?
No, just they dragged them out into the ocean, awaiting pickup, basically. So they'll.
So they just look for the shipping. Is they don't target land then? Oh,
no,
wow.
No,
okay.
There's no destination. So they're relying on someone saving them, basically, to take them to dry land.
Gotcha.
And that happens to be Italy by the most part.
Yeah.
And you will have seen all of the sort of negative press around that. And
yeah.
So
I thought the being picked up thing was like a backup strategy, and then they were actually targeting land, but they hope to get picked up on the way. They're actually targeting getting picked up then. Wow, okay.
Yes, yeah.
So how many people a year are we looking at, Tom? What's the numbers roughly?
Hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
So this is a daily occurrence then in the Mediterranean alone.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so bold as to say it's daily, but it's regular enough to be seriously concerning. And we're talking, it's not like twos or threes of people, it's like 20, 30 at a time.
Yeah, sure.
In one little thing, and so it's a serious problem.
How do they get this intelligence currently? Without your product, is it just a case of just looking for it now, or are you doing something above and beyond what? There's no way of them finding out in addition to your product. Pretty much, then is there?
No, there is absolutely. So I think most of these boats will have people on with phones. And so if they're still within reach of a mobile phone mast, they'll call someone like Alarm Phone, who are a Twitter channel, who work solely to try and get migrants aid who are in need of it. So they're a Twitter user or organization who spend their resources trying to hook up migrants with people who can help them.
So do Alarm Phone typically target the English channel, or is it just all of the region?
They're all of them. So they're the kind of go-to. They're the go-to, as well as, again, Médecins Sans Frontières have a lot of social media on their interaction. They publish a lot of phone numbers and contact details, so that if anyone can. Then they can call them. But if the boats are 60 nautical miles away, that's
sure,
long away.
So what prompted you to develop this product? Was there a moment where you went, right, we've got to work on this problem?
Yeah, absolutely. I was approached by an analyst who described their workflow in trying to do exactly what Migrant Watch does. And they described to me how, in essence, they were mandrolically watching and receiving data and then having to wade through it and then trying to work out what the references from the data meant. And then act on it. And so the process, from flash to bang could take hours. Even if they had the best information possible. Yeah. It was a real awakening for me, I think, to realize that at a large scale that was currently the solution, and I felt, I spent my weekend building a proof of concept, and came back to them on Monday.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
And said, "How's that?"
Good God! I bet that was a long weekend.
No, well, not really, because when you think about, it's a. I don't want to say it's a privilege, because it makes it sort of glorifies the devastation that's really happening, but to be given an opportunity to make something that solves a meaningful problem. It's not finding sofas to sleep on. Although, great if you need a sofa to sleep on and you got an app that does that for you, perfect. I'm not doing them down, but
Yeah.
but it's like it's a real human problem.
Sure.
That's what Animus Bytes is about. We want to solve real human problems.